you're going to face each day knowing the difference between your big voice, which is aligned with your vision and your goals, and your little voice, which is going to take you away from that and get you to focus on things that you don't want to. So how do we stop negative self-talk? Let's be honest. We all have those voices in our head that can go a little bit negative or even lead us in the wrong direction. And the first thing that I want you to know is it's not just you. All of us, whether successful, struggling, on any end of the spectrum, have so many thoughts and voices in our head that we often don't know which one to follow. So I'm going to give you some really actionable tips today that are rooted in neuroscience, things that I've been studying for 21 years that have made a big difference, and I shared in my last book, Big Voices. So the first thing that I want you to know is that you are not your thoughts. You are also not your brain. Chances are your brain, which is really wired for survival, has been running the show for a long time because it is so fear-based. It is trying to protect you. And we all know that magic happens when we get outside of our comfort zone and we are willing to, face failure or humiliation, whatever it is. And so I want to just share some of those strategies with you today. And I kind of talk about this as being like the Control-Alt-Delete on all of your thinking. We want to start from scratch, and I divide it between your big voice and your little voice. Now, there are some other voices sometimes that I just get really curious about because I'm not 100% sure where they come from. But what I know to be true is that your big voice is real, it's complimentary, and it is never going to question your worth. And so many of us question our worth on a regular basis. We're really hard on ourselves, right? Like when something doesn't go our way, we tend to think worst case scenario. Well, if we felt worthy, we wouldn't feel that way. And so I know for me that I don't have little voices that are like, you're dumb or you're any of those things. Some people do because they've accidentally picked up an imprint from childhood or from somebody else, which is all nonsense, and we'll get to that. But some of us, it comes up in the subtle form of worrying about things falling into place. Because if we really feel worthy and we feel guided and we feel in abundance, we know that everything's always working out okay for us. So what is this other voice? This little voice is going to come from a place of doubt, fear, shame, blame, complaining, and really just a focus on things that aren't working. Our big voice is going to focus on the things that are really working and know that we have so much power to change our circumstances. And this is really going to affect you over the long haul. So again, I try to separate the voices and the thoughts between my big voice and my little voice. And so a great exercise that I recommend is just writing down all the things that your voice says on a regular basis and then categorizing them. A big voice is going to be like, wow, you look amazing today. A little voice might be more critical. Like, where's that last wrinkle or gray hair, in my case, coming from? Again, things that really don't matter. But we know that these voices have the ability to take us down two different paths, right? Our big voice is going to keep us authentic and centered and focused on what it is that we want to create, where our little voice is going to take us down this path of what's often distraction, destruction, projection on other people, complaining and other things. And so it really makes a difference as to how we live our life, to what voice we listen to. So it's wildly important that you really can kind of start seeing those voices next to one another and just know, when I get the thoughts that are coming from my little voice or the emotions, I kind of just shoulder shrug it. And I'm like, get in the passenger seat. I'm still driving this car. I know where I want to go, and it's abundance and positivity and impact rather than self-doubt and shame or blame or any of those lower level emotions. So I wish that I had a secret I do. I wish that I had a secret that I could tell you how to eliminate these voices or eliminate some of the little voice thoughts, but what I can really teach you is how to deal with them. There are some healing that you can do to kind of rewire some of that deeper subconscious programming. However, using this strategy of being able to see the difference between your big voice and your little voice is going to make a big difference. So now that you kind of know what your big voice is and your little voice is, you're going to want to approach every day strategically. And so the more you do in the morning, I cannot stress it enough, getting this morning ritual done so that you can already teach your brain what it should be focused on that day will help you reduce a lot of the little voice thoughts, but it's not going to eliminate them. So you're going to want to do that. And then as things come up, now you want to make sure that you filter them through my vision and my goals and really make a decision. Is this in alignment? If it's not, it could just be a distraction, because I can tell you nobody really thinks about, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and scroll on TikTok or Instagram for the next hour and accidentally buy $200 worth of stuff. Nobody ever actually says that. Yet your brain, this little voice thought's like, oh, just go ahead and pop over there just for a minute. And now you just lost an hour of productivity. You know, and I think I've shared this with a lot of you if you've been listening. Like, I write books just doing it 15 minutes a day. So imagine if you got that hour back, it would make such a huge difference. So again, you're gonna face each day knowing the difference between your big voice, which is aligned with your vision and your goals, and your little voice, which is gonna take you away from that and get you to focus on things that you don't want to. So the last thing I'm gonna say is I kind of call these thoughts in the middle. They're just thoughts that like kind of keep popping up, and I'm looking at my vision and my goals and I'm like, doesn't really line up there. But it's like this soft whisper that continuously shows up. And I just get curious about those. I'm like, I wonder where that's coming from. Some of my biggest decisions in my life have come from allowing that, you know, those thoughts in the middle to kind of marinate. I don't take immediate action, but if it just continuously knocks, then it might be something like, oh, I'm gonna write a book on that, or I'm gonna change a new speaking topic that I do, or anything to that level. And so it's one of those things that you can really do in order to be able to kind of just see, do these keep showing up? Journal on it. Keep exploring it, maybe do a little research, because I'm all about creating ands. I think that you can be an amazing business owner or employee and have some of these other things on the side. And maybe that's what that knock is. It's just intended to bring you to this new level of clarity in your life, but you don't want to ignore it because it continuously shows up. But just in the end, how to stop these, you know, ridiculous thoughts is seeing them as separate from yourself and being able to categorize them quickly into, these are my little voice, they don't serve me, they're not going to get me where I want to go. I'm going to shoulder shrug them. I might even thank them. Thanks for trying to protect me, brain, but I'm going to move forward. I've got a plan and I'm okay if I fail. Because we know our brain's just wired for survival. It's not wired to help you thrive. So you've got to get this plan in place to be able to override it. So if this resonated with you and you're committed to really doing the work to see these little negative thoughts as separate from you, make a comment below. Happy to support you. Share it with your friends. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.